want to talk about taking ownership of your personal growth. So personal growth can be considered so many different categories. A lot of people think when they think personal growth, it's things outside of business. But personal growth, in my opinion, is every aspect of your life that you want to improve. So in our Becoming the CEO of Your Own Life, Brotherhood Beyond Business Mastermind, we focus on the 10 domains in your life. And those domains are different categories of your life that you can improve, that we think most men want to improve in to make the optimal life for them. And the key is taking ownership of that. So what I mean by that is, so I have you probably heard of the book Extreme Ownership. Some of the tips I'm going to take from today is actually going to be from the 12-week year. It's a great book. It's really what our mastermind program is based around. Our quarterly assessment or quarterly process is built on a 12-week process to make you level up one part of your life over 12 weeks, right? And so I'm going to talk about one of the sections inside of there today. So let's just go through the things that they talk about for the actions to create a greater accountability in your life. Number one, resolve never to be the victim again. So it's tough because I think most entrepreneurs don't naturally have a victim mentality, but when we really dive into what victim mentality is, I do think we have it a little bit more than we realize, and I think we all have victim mentality. So especially, post-COVID world, I own a fitness business, still do own a fitness business, and that was a hard time, really hard time. And it was really easy to play victim during that time because, fitness businesses for sure were being kind of beat down during that time. I know a lot of friends that went out of business during that time. And I hope that never happens again, but there's a lot of victim mentality during that time and how to overcome that a lot. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs have that as well, as when our business isn't going the way we want, we play victim to all the other things, other circumstances that are going in our life. And I think we need to develop this mental fortitude of never having the victim mentality ever again. Meaning like everything is in our control. That's why we chose to be entrepreneurs. It's in our control. And if we don't like how it is, we can make the changes on that. So some people, my wife's a teacher. And so as a teacher, she doesn't always have the ability to change all the aspects she wants to. She can't really change child discipline anymore because they're not allowed, like the way children act in classes, because they're not allowed to do a lot of things they used to be able to do 10, 20 years ago. And so they can't really discipline the kids. So they have a lot of things that are out of their control. Well, as an entrepreneur, we're very lucky to be able to make choices. I can choose what clients I want to work with. We don't always have to take everybody that wants to give us money. It doesn't mean we have to work with them. And so as entrepreneurs, we have this great ability to never have to have a victim mentality because we can control those aspects. And if something we don't like, we can go through and change it. So I think we can easily commit to that idea. You got to build the mental fortitude to never blame outside sources for what's going on. You're going to have moments where it's going to be, okay, I get like the city came down with some kind of ruling that you can, I'm going to use gyms as an example, came down, I heard this once, a gym couldn't play loud music because of the neighborhood they're in. There is something you can do in that situation. One, you can probably create a little bit better music situation inside your gym, soundproof your gym, right? Another thing could be like you could talk to your landlord and get out of your lease because, hey, like this is not something that we expected to be part of this as an obstacle, and it's something we need to have, right? And so being able to negotiate your way out of the lease to find somewhere else you can be. So there are things you can do. They're not always easy. It does suck in those moments, but I think we can overcome that victim mentality. So that's something we definitely focus on in the mastermind group, is like trying to capture, because most people don't realize they have victim mentality going on. So it's trying to capture those moments when it's like, okay, you're playing the victim in this situation and it's okay. Like we all get that you're playing it. I'm just going to call it out and say you're playing the victim. Let's talk about how we can make it no longer a victim situation. How can we make it so that you're in control, you're empowered to be able to do that? Because you're the man. You're the guy that has to get yourself out of this. Nobody's going to come to rescue you. You got to be Superman in this situation. So you got to be strong enough to overcome that situation. Number two, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Same idea. Going in that one is like the victim mentality. I think entrepreneurs probably feel sorry for ourselves more than I don't say the other jobs, but more than we realize. And so I don't know if we've always played victim mentality, but I do think we feel sorry for ourselves because we have these long hours. Oh my gosh, I have these long hours. We chose to do those, it's completely on us to choose to have those long hours. I personally love that I can start working anytime I want during the day and end anytime I want during the day. Like I can stop at 2:00 if I want to. I don't want to. I like to work longer. I enjoy what I do. I don't have to work Saturday mornings. Sometimes I don't work Saturday mornings. Sometimes I do work Saturday mornings. So it's the idea is like that, you can feel sorry. Oh my God, I gotta work so many hours. You can be like, hey, I get to work so many hours. So instead of feeling sorry for the stuff you're going through, it's like change your mindset to be like, I get to do these things. I'm blessed to have this opportunity. Not everybody gets to be an entrepreneur. They could choose to be an entrepreneur, but not everybody's built that way. If you're really built that way, if you meant to be an entrepreneur, like own it, be cool with it. Like, I got this. I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. I put myself in this situation by becoming an entrepreneur, and I have the ability to work myself out of it. So those two really play hand in hand, the victim mentality, like, oh, woe is me, everybody, and like feeling sorry for myself naturally because of the situations I put myself in over time. Be willing to take different actions. So this is the ownership idea, right? So be willing to take different actions. So if the action that you're currently doing isn't producing the results that you want, you've got to be willing to change those. So if your business isn't growing the way it is by you marketing 4 hours a week, you need to change it. You need to go read Alex Hormozi's book and like do 100 motions or 100 activities a day to make it so you move your business forward. You got to be willing to step outside your comfort zone to choose a different action than what's going on right now. Is it easy to do? No, because you're probably comfortable with the thing you're currently doing, but you can make that change. In our fitness business, we originally started as an athlete training facility. And then eventually we realized the area we were in, athlete training was not going to make sense because most of the places around us could afford to have strength conditioning coaches. So they didn't need to outsource when the parents already had their kids in these programs at school. So they didn't need to outsource anybody. So realistically, it was really hard for us to grow the athlete program. So we made different actions. We completely redesigned our business to be group training for adults. And we focused on like taking our athlete design into the adult side of it, right? And so we took different actions because what we were trying to produce wasn't happening. It doesn't mean that we had to reinvent everything, which we did reinvent a decent amount, but realistically we had to make those changes. And you have to be willing to be different and do different actions and be okay with the fact that like what you're currently doing now is probably not going to be what you're doing 6 months from now. And you probably shouldn't be doing the next 6 months after that, right? So you're going to be able to be willing to do different actions. Associate with accountables. I think this is like a big one for a mastermind group. It's one of the things that hit me inside of there is like why people need mastermind groups, or just groups, accountability in general, right? So maybe a business coach. If you're somebody that doesn't want to be in a group setting, and I'm like, I want to work with a business coach. A company that I really recommend is Fitness Revolution. They helped me when I was first starting as a business. Nick Barry and the team there are awesome. So if you need just a business coach, especially as a fitness business, to go to Nick Barry. Outside of that, I have a marketing coach right now. Chad, he's awesome. If you guys need a marketing coach, let me know. I'll hook you up with Chad. So, but finding those accountability people that can help you along the way. Our mastermind group's built that way. That's why, originally when I went to design a mastermind program, I was going to be just thought provoking. Like, let's just talk about ideas. And I realized like that doesn't move the needle enough. It's not who I am. I'm a very accountable person, and I like the accountability measures I have built in my life. And I felt like other people needed those things. So let's build a program that designs the level of accountability in here that they need to achieve that one thing that they need to move forward in the next 3 months. How do we move your life forward in the next 3 months and just focus on those 3 months and then attack the next 3 months after that, attack. And after a year, like, holy crap, I really moved the needle in my life in this either one aspect, if I chose one aspect, worked on all year long, or these different aspects throughout the year. We took them from, let's say, a scale of 1 to 10, and let's say it's a family man. I was a 2 as a family man, and by the end of the year, I had worked on it all year long, and now I'm a 6. That's a humongous change in a year on who you are as a family man. Or maybe it's like I want to go from a 2 to a 4 there, but I also want to go from a 2 to a 4 in my faith, and I want to go from a 2 to 4 in my adventure life. I don't do anything outside of business, right? So you start to move those different aspects of your life throughout the year. But accountability is huge. Having people around you to push you to the next level. I know I saw Alex Hormozi is doing something right now with people for his school program, and he's having pretty much come together and build businesses together is really what it is. That's exactly what our mastermind idea is, right? Just this ours is a lot more intimate idea. It's only groups of 10, and so it's a little bit more tailored to you and your focus. But the idea is like groups are powerful. You can bounce ideas off each other, move. We call it buying speed. You can buy speed so much faster. How do you buy speed to get to the end result faster? Get together with people doing the same thing that are super energetic, that are passionate, that want to do this thing. Get in their sphere and have them move you forward. That's what I love about masterminds. A business coach can sometimes, they can create an accountability level for you, and I think that's very important, especially at early stage in your business. I think all the time having a business coach is important, honestly, but like outside of that, having a mastermind group of other energetic people chasing down the same thing. The business coach gives you advice and kind of gives you direction. And then your mastermind group helps you like throw gas in that fire and let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. In our mastermind group, we're going to do that obviously on the business side of things, but on every other aspect of your life too. Let's throw gas in that fire because some people are working on this and that. And by them working on different aspects of their life, because they're talking about it, levels up your life. You're like, oh man, like that person's doing awesome with his wife and kids. And like, I just want to add a little bit more of that to my life to see how happy they are. And my wife isn't the happiest, you know. I think our relationship's not the best because I don't put focus on that. So that's an awesome thing. Like accountability is important. Being around people that are accountable is important. I know in our mastermind group, I really stress trying to find people that are naturally accountable, which means there are people that are going to hold us accountable across the board. Everybody. They're not going to be the ones just walking like, hey, I need you to hold me accountable. I'm not good at it, but I'm never going to hold you accountable. It's not easy to do. It's hard to find people that are extremely accountable. So it takes some practice to get people trained up to that because accountability is not something that we naturally have in the United States anymore. We've become a very unaccountable society. And I think I'm trying to help level that up. I'm trying to help take that to another level where it's the idea is like, let's create intense accountability for each other so we can move the needle forward. And at the end of the year, I can make, check, I moved my life forward. Versus like a lot of times we get to the end of the year and we're like, man, I don't even know what I did this year. I think I went better. And the only way we have a judgment of it is how much money did we make? That's all we really have a judgment. And that's such a horrible, horrible way to gauge if life's moving forward or not. It's a very small spectrum. And you could have moved your finances forward and everything else fell apart. I do think finances are important. We're going to talk about that. But you could actually technically stay the same financially in terms of your take home, but learn how to budget correctly, save more money, invest more money, and have like, let's say you're only taking home 60. I could take a person taking home 60 one year and the next year make them more profitable in terms of the fact that they like put more money away. They budgeted themselves. They got more focused on their finances. They saved for more. They had more vacations because they had more money. They weren't just pissing money down the drain with Amazon, right? So there's so many different ways to measure that. Being able to measure all those aspects of life is super important. And that was kind of the last one that they had on the taking ownership side of it. We're going to kind of just finish with the extreme ownership. You know, if you guys have read that book, like Jocko's like one of the most accountable people out there. And it's just the idea of like every situation in life that you have, own it. We are men in the United States. We are blessed. We can say like, right now, obviously being a white male is like a negative in certain ways. It happens, right? We all like, there's different discrimination in so many different categories of life. I don't care. I have the ownership to be a man in the United States. I have a responsibility in this place and time in life to do the best I can, to move my life forward, take control of what I have, take extreme ownership of every situation around there. Where my kids go to school, I can dictate how that situation goes. So I can always homeschool them. That's an awesome ability to be able to do that, right? I could homeschool. As a husband, I could be the world's best husband. I could give my wife everything she wants financially, but also just like relationship-wise. There's so many options you can do there. We have the ability to choose all these different faiths you can be part of, right? So we are so lucky and so blessed to be in this life right now where we're at. But the only obstacle that's preventing anybody from achieving that end result that they want is just here, right? It's our ability to take accountability for ourselves and move ourselves forward. So that's my spiel for the day of taking ownership of your life in every aspect, becoming the CEO of your own life. So if that's something you're interested in doing, you're a male, you're an entrepreneur, and you want to move your life forward, and you want to be around people who want to move you forward in life, who are already gung-ho in their life forward, and you want to throw some gas on that fire with other people to move other aspects of your life forward as fast as possible, this is the right group for you. So join our Brotherhood Beyond Business Mastermind group. Just reach out to me if you have any questions on that. I'd love to have a discussion to see if you're a right fit for our program. Have a great day, guys.